And we're live. All right. What's happening, everybody? Riley, you want to go ahead and intro?
Oh yeah, totally, man. Just put me on the spot.
Yeah.
Well, hey everybody, how's it going? This is another episode of Happy Hour at Shenanigans with your boy Riley Lewis and Nicholas. Bringing you another episode here this evening. We are currently sponsored by no one. So if you're looking to sponsor us, go ahead and contact me at never mind. No one's gonna want to sponsor us.
Who we are technically sponsored by, Cineffect Media.
Oh yeah,
Production
Cineffect
company.
Media. Yeah, they're giving each like you give them on their Facebook page is another $1 towards curing erectile dysfunction. So go ahead and give them the best you can and help save a marriage.
It's a major factor in what we do here at Cineffect Media.
Yeah. That's good. So
Caring for the nation.
give me a topic this evening.
All right, how about we start with, I think we've traditionally started with a softball question, so let's just kind of slide in with the softballs. How's your new year?
This is the first time I think I'm going to keep a New Year's resolution.
Really? What is your New Year's resolution?
To finish the book I started writing. Well, I guess it's not really going to be a book, but a elongated short story.
Okay. All right. What is this book about?
So it's about it's about this family who emigrated to the United States from Ireland in the early 1900s. So of course things like Nina are still a little relevant. Which for those of you that don't know, it was no Irish need apply after there was a huge influx of Irish and German immigrants to this country after the potato famine in like the 1850s. They called it the Black 40s. So I have this family of people, and the mom is a stay-at-home mom, and the father, who wanted to be a laborer, can't get any work, being an Irishman, and they can tell by his accent. So it tells the tale about how his two sons have to work have to drop out of school and work to feed the family, and how that kind of takes its toll on a couple of brothers, and how they kind of find themselves and their spirituality, and how that really affects their life and makes them grow as people.
Wow, that's intense. So what is this based on? What was your kind of inspiration for this book?
Oh man, a little bit of home life stuff, and also a little bit of I'm very in touch with my heritage. And I've had like my I think on my dad's side, I think it was my great grandfather. Yeah, so my great grandfather was like a teenager in the Great Depression, and so his family was hit pretty hard. So his dad made him quit high school to go work, and then he went back to high school when he was 27 to go finish and get his diploma and then go to college. He was that determined. He was like a grown-ass man. Yeah. So good. He was, nice. After the Depression was over, he decided to go back, get his high school diploma, and then go get a college degree. So in my family, kind of that sort of, a combination of current, just coming out of a recession, so economic theme, along with our family, typically being, a big Irish family. I don't know, that just kind of inspired the idea, I guess.
I like it. It's very, I don't know what the word for it, but it's complex, I guess, is one word for it.
Yeah.
It's also like, you don't think like, oh, this person's writing a book. What is he like? What is he gonna write a story about? I wouldn't. That's not the first thing I'd jump to, which is cool. I think that's something like you just kind of dive into it. That's really good. Nice.
Yeah. I've been, well, as the child of an English teacher, I've always been a curious guy when it comes to writing. And let me tell you it's a pipe. Let me tell you a little story. This all dates back to 7th grade. Oh, Mrs. Roberts, what a woman. Just for a little backdrop, because this will really, make this worse. I was at a Catholic school. Yeah, I was at a Catholic school, so
I went to a Catholic preschool, and
yeah, they're tough.
I was done after that.
Yeah, they're tough, aren't they? The nuns walk around with rulers, and things get really tough in Catholic school, as the rumor goes, and I can testify to that. Father Brown.
Okay, I have a story about a Catholic school, about my Catholic preschool, but after you finish your story.
Okay. So when I was in 7th grade, we started reading. Oh God, what's it called? We were reading some book. It was like It was like To Kill a Mockingbird or something. But we were reading some book, and Mrs. Roberts said, do whatever you want. You just have to listen. So I broke out a piece of paper and a pen, and I just started writing. And an hour later, I had this nice story called Justin Bieber, Small Town Douchebag. The first tale I ever put to paper. So of course, they were concerned that a 7th grade Catholic kid was talking about douchebags. I didn't use the kindest language, as the title.
I can't imagine you would.
Right. So that was when my love of writing began, And then I didn't tell my mom I got detention. I just, I was like, Mom, I'm talking to my teacher, and she's like, for an hour? I was like, Mom, it's an important question. She didn't buy that.
Really? It's okay. I'm gonna be quiet here because I don't want them to hear. But my parents are very oblivious about a lot of things, so I could probably get away. I mean, I'm a very straight-laced kid most of the time.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I never get it. I got a few detentions, but they're just kind of BS stuff. It wasn't anything too bad. But wait, you got how do you get a detention for that? Did they find it, or did you leave it somewhere or something?
No. So
did you have to turn it in?
I wrote this, and God, I'm so dumb. The first thing I did was, of course, I had to run up to all the flag football players with my novel. It's like, hey, Mike Garina, look at my story, man. And of course, everyone read it. We're all having a good laugh. And then 2:59, 1 minute to go. Aaron Murphy screams across the classroom, "Hey, Riley, can I see your story?" And then my homeroom teacher looks around. She's like, "What story? Let me see that." Looks at the title and to really give me the old "how do you do." She looked at it and said, I'm gonna give you the weekend, and we'll discuss your punishment on Monday. Rough weekend.
You should have just been like, oh, I don't have a story, and I'm trying to think of ways of how you could get out of that, but I'm not really sure.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, when I'm holding it in my hand and my name's on the top right, it's
even put your name on the top right, like you're gonna turn it in or something like that. It's like
force of habit, man. Force of habit,
I feel you.
Yeah, so Erin Murphy really ruined it all for me. She was she really gave me yeah, of course, she really ruined it for me, as an author. But that was the start of my career, It's been
tough beginnings.
From humble beginnings. Yeah. It's been all downhill from there.
Through persecution, he has reborn. It's like the phoenix, reborn to fire.
Yeah, it really is, And then from there, it was just all downhill,
Really?
Yeah.
All downhill.
Yeah.
So about how far along are you on this book? How many pages or so?
I want to say I'm like 3 pages in.
And how long do you expect it to be?
I don't know. I'm just gonna write until I feel like the story is told. I mean, right now the idea is basically just these are two kids that, they just they want to live normal lives, and, they go to a nice, a wealthy Protestant school in New York City, so, everyone's Anglo-Saxon and, Protestant, English descent, so, of course they give these kids, because England was, made Ireland its bitch, and, along with the other half of the world for, God knows how long, they had rule in Africa, India, they made Australia
They
land
owned,
just for
like,
prisoners.
all the colonies.
Right, yeah, so they basically
everywhere.
owned the entire globe for a long time. Yeah, so, so there was just like a combination of racial tension in there a little bit, just because they're, Irishmen and Englishmen don't get along all too well, kind of like a Dutch person and a German person. I mean,
Yeah.
Hitler marched right into, Holland right away, and then Poland, so, you want to be friends with a Dutch person, poop on Germany, Same thing here, the little, little tension. So it just starts off, I guess, with these kids, and the stock market crash, which is a symptom, and then things kind of start going south, and along with a crash, there's only one income, and with racial tension in such an English town, their father can't get work, so the sons have to go, do manual labor and construction, and right at this industrial boom, they're basically doing the cheapest labor they can just to get by. So, that's where I'm at right now. I'm at just basically school life for these two boys, I suppose.
Yeah, well, that's really cool. I mean, you're 3 pages more along than anyone else who hasn't even started. So, I mean, that's really good. And what I always think is, like, it's never really about length, because you could tell a great story in 8 pages, and there could also be a 100-page story that's just complete shit. Like, it's just, it's really about the story. I mean, that's what whenever I make films, it's like, you only want to keep the things that are just like integral parts of your story that advance it on. Anything that's kind of like extra that doesn't really mean anything, you should cut. At the same time, it's kind of hard because you write the script and you're like, oh, I like it, and then you don't do it. But anyway.
Yeah.
But
that's the same thing for films. I find that a lot of oftentimes short budget or indie or film festival films are much better than major motion pictures.
I think so too.
They get rid of all of the extra budgeting, funding crap, like just explosions and stuff that doesn't make any sense, and then they just have just the raw story, and it's so much better. It's so much better. I love it. Like, I've even seen, and a lot of times you start to see these big actors like Dean Norris from Breaking Bad or Jennifer Lawrence or someone do these indie films, because it's like it's becoming a cool thing to just get rid of all the fat, and like, I don't need to watch Sylvester Stallone shoot for like an hour and a half. Like, that's boring. A lot of these major motion pictures are terrible next to these indie films. I'd much rather make an indie film and like be creative.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you see stuff side by side, like the stuff like Transformers, Michael Bay stuff.
Oh God!
I watched the first one, but like I think they've made like 4 or 5 now, something like that. I'm just like, come on. But the thing is, they make so much money. They make $250 million. I'm like, how? This is ridiculous. And then there's the films that I go and I see at like the film festivals that are maybe like 25, 30 minutes, but people have spent a lot of time on it. They're really creative, really well shot, great, but they don't have any big name actors, and they're not a big name production company or anything like that. It's just really kind of small and everything, and those are like really good because you think those are the things that kind of like make you think. They're normal people. They have ideas, so they can really connect with their audiences, really.
Yeah, it's the relatability, like
I like 10 times.
Like, I'm a big fan of the show Real Housewives.
Really?
Oh, you better believe it. Oh, I love that, man. I currently watch the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and their problems are so like, oh my God. It's they're like, oh, they'll break out the the monocle, like, oh, which Tesla do I drive today?
That's like all the Sweet
Yeah.
16, my Super
Yeah.
Sweet 16. They're just like, oh my God, you bought me the green Ferrari. I want the red one. I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
I know.
See, that happens in our neighborhood with iPhones. It's just like, oh my God, you got me the white iPhone. I want the gold one. Oh my God,
I know.
you don't even love me. I'm just like, I want to hit you.
I know, it's so bad. Like, dude, this mom decided to throw her 4-year-old a $60,000 birthday party, and then the little girl. I know, right? I know, 60 grand she spent total on this 4-year-old's birthday party, and this girl walks down. She's like, Mom, I want to go upstairs, and like she couldn't give a crap about it. She's 4, like it's nap time for her. So I was like, oh my God, you just pissed away 60 grand and your daughter's taking a nap. Like, who was this party for? It's ridiculous.
When I hear 60,000, you want to know what I hear 3 years of college. Like,
yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And you spend that on a birthday party?
That's 3 years of college at like a state school. Yeah, that's like 1 year at USC. Yeah.
That's not even 1 year at USC. USC is like 75,000. It's ridiculous.
Oh my God, 75,000? What's UCLA like?
UCLA, for us, since we're in California, it's just like the rest of the UC schools. It's like around 20,000, maybe 25.
That's reasonable. That's
that's obviously like it's not great. It's super expensive, but it's more reasonable than $75,000 a year.
Yeah, no, that's pretty reasonable.
For college, yeah. We kind of like throw these numbers around, like, oh, it's only $20,000, like.
Well, yeah, but
it's $20,000.
That is a lot of money, but
for what like the average price is, it's more reasonable.
For the average,
it's going up by, I think it's like 5% for the next 5 years. So and I think I might be lowballing it. So I think by the end of by the time we're out of college, it's going to be like 30,000 close.
That doesn't surprise me. College is becoming kind of a business. Now that there's, at least here, since there's such a huge population boom, and we have like only so much space, it's like no longer you just need like a nice GPA. Like all of our teachers, like Mr. Hartley got into college just for having like a 3.5 GPA. He automatically got in. Like it's no longer like that. It's like, oh, you have to have a 4.9 GPA and be the president of like the football and the basketball team and have a cure for cancer or brewing.
The president of the basketball team, not the team captain, the president. Okay.
No, and then you have to have a 2,800 on the SAT, and we'll consider you peasant. Like it's becoming a business. It's ridiculous.
See, that's the thing. Is because in California we've just cut so much money for education that I'm not saying that they really need this money, because I think that they really are overcharging for what they offer. I mean, they offer really high quality education. Top notch. But it just kind of depends on like you have UCLA, which is like one of the top 3 I would consider. I'm a huge UCLA fan, so take what I say with a grain of salt. But one of the top 3 schools in the nation, maybe top 4, definitely top 10. Okay, but
if it's anything for film, theater, anything art, I would say UCLA's top 4.
Yeah.
They have a wonderful film program. I would say then.
Film program, I think it goes USC, and then I think it goes UCLA, Chapman, UCLA, NYU for film programs.
Yeah, I would say that's a fair.
Those are top 4, whether they're in the order. I know USC's number 1, even though.
Yeah, because it's got to be a financial thing. That's private, and they've got a huge endowment. Yeah. It's got to be something like that. With that kind of money, they can afford connections to Hollywood pretty easily.
But like I said, you kind of have the 2 ends of the spectrum. You have like UCLA, which is like you're paying for $25,000 worth of education, and you're getting it because it's a good education. And then it's like UC Merced, which is like 3 years old or something like that.
Awful school. Awful.
I mean, I'm not going to say any school is awful, but
Well,
it's definitely not as good as any of the rest of the UC schools. Same like
took
UC Riverside and
yeah.
stuff like that.
Well, no, I toured it, and I say awful because one, Merced, for those of the people that don't have a good idea where it is, it's basically a little bit south of Bakersfield. So it's in the middle of the San Joaquin Valley, Central Valley, you know, where it's like 10 a.m. and it's 90 degrees. You know, it's
See, when you have to look forward to, like, oh, the big town near us is Bakersfield,
right,
you know
right.
You're kind of not in the best
right.
area.
You know, you're in the middle of nowhere when your town's main, like, job is agriculture. That kind of lets you know we're in the middle of nowhere.
The main export of your town is people, because no one wants to stay there.
Ooh, good burn. Girl talk. Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Yeah, I took a look at it and it just like, it was.
It didn't impress you. It wasn't up to the Riley standard.
No, it's just like it's only like 5 years old, so there's nothing there. Like they were like
no, it's new.
They were in the middle of building their student homes. I was like their dorm rooms, and I was like, you don't even have dorms? Why are you advertising as a college?
Yeah.
You guys have like 12 bedrooms.
University.
Yeah, like survival of the fittest. Like, you know. The rest of you cut, and they had like one place to eat, and I was like, all right, well, you guys have a taco stand and a couple of like cots, and then like a tent. So Shangri-La.
You're paying $20,000 for that.
Right? Yeah, I was like, that's a jihad on my wallet. Like that's financial terrorism. Like that's that's some hocus pocus crap. So I decided not to even apply.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not applying to any UCs.
Really? I applied to I think there's 8, 10 UC.
Yeah, there's 10.
I applied to all except for 3, something like that.
Which 3 did you leave out?
UC Merced.
Good call.
UC Irvine or Riverside. I think I left both Irvine and Riverside out.
Good call.
But then and I left UC San Diego out, which is I think it's one of the top UC schools. I think it's going to be 2 or 3. But I just want to get out of San Diego.
Yeah, get out of Dodge. Yeah, do yourself a favor.
It's one exit from my house, which is
right. Yeah.
I don't want to stay.
It's just on La Jolla Drive, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just one exit south of you. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Well, 3 or 4, but you get the point. Yeah, it's 10 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. So that'd be terrible. Yeah.
Yeah. No. I would feel like I was at home, and I want to leave home.
Yeah. Right.
I want to experience the world.
Yeah, that's the whole point. Yeah. I'm getting far away. I'm probably going to Nevada, so that's cool.
Nevada, that's pretty fun.
I've been
I'm looking. When I was first thinking about applying to colleges, I'm like, oh, I'm only applying to UC schools and state schools. That's gonna be it. And then I start thinking about. I'm like, I could maybe go to Michigan or Colorado, but I don't know if I'll get in.
Wait, what's the appeal to either one of those places?
They have really good engineering schools. So Colorado Boulder, to get in regular, just to go there, I know. Okay, Colorado Boulder, their admission rate, their admission rate has gone up application rate, that's what I'm trying to think of, has gone up by over 400% after the legalization of weed, which is, I think, is hilarious.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
And to get in, I don't want to be hurtful to anyone, but it's pretty easy to get in, and I mean
wait.
around our school.
When you say easy, do you mean ASU easy, or just relative to Ivies? Because ASU is basically, if you have a pulse, welcome to ASU.
No, I'm not saying. It's so here. I'll just give you the stats. I think average mid 50% GPA there is a 3.2, 3.3, something like that.
Average.
I have no idea if these are completely correct.
I get it.
And ACT scores a 25, something like that. That's all I really know. But and so that, I mean, that's just that on its own. Compared to other colleges, that's really easy. I mean, not I want to say really, but it's pretty easy compared to other colleges. If you look at the engineering school, which they actually have a really good engineering school, a lot of people that go to that engineering school go on to work for NASA because they have like a really big like setup place or whatever in Colorado Boulder, Colorado, and yeah, so they have to get into that. It's a little bit harder. Like the mid 50%, like maybe 3.8 or 3.9 with a 30 ACT, which is harder, but yeah.
Well, that sounds cool. Wait, what about? Oh, so are you
Michigan? Michigan is just I don't know any statistics about that. Michigan's just been known as a really good school and a good like a.
Yeah, but I mean, what's the appeal of the engineering? I thought you were like a film guy.
Yeah, well, see, that's the thing. So, film is it's a hard business to get into. I think being
incredibly hard.
Yes, if I were to be like a director, like a cinematographer or something like that, that'd be awesome. That'd be super fun, and I would feel like my job is just like I get to play all day, which would be great. But at the same time, it's really hard to get in. It's really hard to make money. And even if you are making money, it's hard to do what you like want to do, because the real money is in commercials, like doing commercials, weddings, anything that's not really that much artistic. Like if you want to write a script for anything or do anything like with a feature film or something like that, short film, that's not really going to make you any money, but that's what takes most of the time and everything like that. So it's just kind of it's a hard business to get into. I'm not trying to draw pity here or anything, but I really don't think I'm good enough just because, I don't know, just compared to like a lot of the people my age, I'm not sure. But at the same time, it's like ever since like I was 7 and I saw all these airplanes flying over my house, so right near Miramar Air Station, all these airplanes, I'm like, oh my god, this is so cool. I want to build these airplanes. I want to build this stuff that goes to space. I want to be in aerospace.
Aeronautic engineer.
Oh yeah.
So is that like your practical plan? Aeronautic engineering?
Yeah, and that I didn't apply anywhere for film. I applied everywhere for engineering. I think that was always really the plan. I mean, like I said, I've been interested in engineering since I was like 7, and then I didn't really get interested in film until I was in like 7th or 8th grade or something like that. So 4 or 5 years later, after my initial love for engineering, and so I've always just like building stuff and like creating stuff. That's kind of where I got my interest in film, because like you can kind of create something from scratch and like make it your own. And so that's something I'm really interested in. Like I'm gonna hit you with a little bit of philosophy here, kind of. But so my main kind of like mantra for life is I just want to like make a difference on the world. I don't want to like die and have like no one remember who I am. I want to like be like, oh, he was that guy that built that airplane, and now everyone gets to their destination like 2 hours faster. Like, thank you, man. Like, that's cool. I want to be remembered like that guy's awesome.
Yeah, like an Einstein.
Exactly. Like someone who has like a lasting like this is, I think there's a direct quote from like my college applications. Further the world or further improve the world and leave the world better than when I started, basically. When I was brought into this world, and
it's kind of like
make a change for the better.
Right, it's kind of like the camping rule: leave the site better than you found it.
Exactly, leave no trace, except leave a better trace.
Leave the campsite cleaner than you found it. Yeah, okay.
Exactly.
I like it. I like it. Well, I think my dream job would either be an actor or an author or a combination.
So artistic. I like it.
My favorite thing to do is tell stories. So.
Would you ever consider being a comedian? Maybe.
Yeah, I would, but that's a tough line to walk. I've seen comedians who have big archives, and they have stuff from where they're award-winning to getting having people throw tomatoes at them. It's a very tough line to walk.
I could see you.
Especially, I mean, being a stand-up comic is easier because, as an adult, you have certain boundaries you're allowed to cross. Like, you don't have to be, always 100% like politically correct. No comedian is. They would never make it as a comedian if they were correct, because that's not funny. But like, I don't know. I mean, writing comedy just from scratch, like just jokes, is very difficult to do. Like, the thing about a stand-up comic is that you're not writing jokes, you're writing a routine.
Yeah.
Like,
I could see you being like I could see you doing a comedy show, doing a stand-up comedy show, but I'm not sure if I could see you being like a stand-up comic for like your whole life. Like I think you can do that yourself, and I'm not sure if that's exactly what you want to do.
No, I would rather the crazy dream is becoming an actor, and I'd rather do something like local theaters or Broadway than Hollywood. That's the crazy dream to chase. The practicality is that I know I love the entertainment field, and I know I love writing. So I'm going to go into anywhere I go in undeclared, and I'm going to go, as soon as I start school, I will go to a career center or a counselor or find someone to talk to, an admin, and say, I love people, I love telling stories, and I love writing, and I love the entertainment industry altogether. Where do I go from here? And that's what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to set myself up with a practical degree so I don't flop. That's one route I've wanted to take. However, I've also really considered doing law school, because the thing about law school is that it's not like med school where you have to do all this pre-med stuff and that really drastically changes your undergrad experience. The thing about being a doctor is that you kind of have to know you want to be a doctor, because you need incredible grades and everything math and science, and then you go in and it's like your undergrad, you're already starting your pre-med, and then you apply to a med school by like junior year or senior year, so you're already going off to that. However, for law school, you can go in and it's not called pre-law when you're undergrad, but if you like major in law or like constitutional law, then you can apply to a law school from there, and then eventually you'll take the bar exam, and hopefully with enough trials you'll pass and have a license to do law in a certain state or in multiple states. But that's that's the difference. Like med school, you kind of gotta know you want to be a doctor. I could like be a sophomore in college and say, hey, I took a couple law classes. I really like this. I'll do constitutional law. That's...
Well, here, let me give you some advice. So my dad is a lawyer, and he's given this advice to some people. Don't go into law if you just want to do it for the money, And I'm not saying that you're doing this at all. I'm just trying to, give advice to other people, I guess. But don't go into law just because, it makes a lot of money. You want to, back when my dad went in, he said, yeah, people could do that. But now that there's a crap ton of lawyers, and most lawyers now, they're working, they're not working 9 to 5. They're working from 6 to 9. They're working from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. They're pulling all-nighters all the time. It's a very, it's a very tiring job now, just because there's so many lawyers. It's very competitive out there. So you really only want to be a lawyer if you really care about the justice system and you really want to make a difference. And what I think I like about my dad is he says it's not all about the big cases, because the big cases, sure, those are what pay the bills and that's what helps you out and everything. But it's also about the small cases, like the cases where maybe someone doesn't have a lot of money, maybe they can't even pay you too much money, but you're making a difference and you're helping someone out where maybe this person could, this happened to my dad. My dad, one of his clients, their life savings was $8,000.
Oh my God!
So were disabled at like a young age, so they couldn't really do too much, and so there was some problem with like this lady's smoke detectors, I think, and so her apartment complex was making her pay for a bunch of stuff, and basically she lost all that $8,000, and the problem still wasn't fixed, and so like obviously my dad's not going to get a huge payday out of this, but he still goes in and says like, hey, she didn't have to pay for any of this. This is your guys' problem. You have to deal with this. So she gets all that money back. So it's not like a huge payday or anything, or a huge deal to any of us if we think like, oh, it's only $8,000 or something like that. But to her, it's like it's a huge difference. That was her life savings. You know?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
It's about really like helping people, not just doing it for the money.
Yeah. Well, I think it would be cool to be in like if I were to do law, I would go for the gold, meaning I would go eventually run or like try to become a Supreme Court justice.
That would be really cool. I feel like I would have fun doing that.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Supreme Court. I'm a big fan of just like the whole. I think our education system needs huge reform, and I think our justice system needs some reform as well. So, yeah, I'd definitely be curious to go into one of those fields. The thing about being an educator, though, if I were to become a teacher, would be I would have to decide quickly to start all the masters and credentials you have to get. So I'd have to know early in my college experience, and I couldn't live in California and be a teacher.
Really? Oh, because
it's so expensive.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. Couldn't do it.
Mm-hmm. That's why you see like a lot of teachers from our school. They live like 30 minutes away, or
because they're trying to find like they're living in like an apartment in Oceanside.
That's one thing that I've heard about in San Francisco, is that people will live like maybe an hour and a half or 2 hours out. They'll live in a different city, a different town, but they'll commute every day, hours and hours, just because they can't afford living in San Francisco.
Right. So they'll live in like Oakland or Hayward or Petaluma, somewhere like an hour away from the city, and just be like, this is what I can afford to do. Yeah, I get it. Mm-hmm. So that and I want to definitely be able to provide. So I just don't think teaching's for me. I like it, but I don't love it. And if you don't love it on the shelf,
I don't know if I could see being a teacher.
Yeah, I'm not, more of a storyteller myself.
Exactly. No, I think you're good in front of people and everything like that, but well, okay, how about this? If you were to be a teacher, what would you teach?
Oh, definitely something with either English or theater.
Really?
Or
for some reason I was going to say history. I don't know why. I feel like
that would be really cool, too. Yeah, history would be cool. I think my favorite would probably be English, to be honest. But not like Mr. Brown style, much more engaging style.
I liked Mr. Brown style. I mean, I don't know. I've had some really crappy English teachers.
I liked Mr. Brown, but I thought that he was just kind of a little too, he was a little awkward, which was kind of funny. But it just seemed like he was. You don't think he's a little awkward?
I don't know. I just.
Oh man.
The reason I think that he is such a good, maybe he's not a good English teacher. I can't really say anything more. I'm not in his class. I thought he was a really good English teacher just because every English teacher before then I had was just not good at all.
No.
It's not that I didn't like them. Like, they were great people and really nice and stuff like that, but some of them just weren't good at teaching. And so
yeah, that's true. I mean,
and then they get pissy. You're like, oh, like, why do you have a 90.1 in the class? I'm like, okay, 1, that's an A, so why are you angry? 2, I would have a higher grade if you actually taught us this stuff before we did it. Every time they're just like, oh, we're gonna write an essay, but it's just I don't know if you guys know how to write or whatever. Just do it, and then if we need to talk about it, we'll talk about it. And then we'll do the essay. Everyone will get 2%, and then can talk about it. I'm like, dude, really?
If I were to teach in an English department, I would probably want to, the class I would want to teach would be creative writing.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah, creative writing would be a really fun class. That would be my English. Supreme Court justice would be if I went law. But really, I think right now the goal is anything entertainment field. Anything I can get there. That's what I love so far.
Nice.
But I think I'll always keep up with writing. So.
Yeah, I think writing something that's like, I don't know about you, but I mean, I feel like for me, if I were writing something that I could do, like I could have like a stable job that pays the bills, but then when I come home, it's also something relaxing that I would like to do, and so I could still write and maybe even publish a novel, but still have like a day job, you know?
Yeah, totally.
Just take longer.
I mean, I really like writing because it allows me to, get 100%. Like, there are no rules,
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like 100% creative, and I think it's, there's just I love language just in general. I love everything about language. So I think it's like, I guess it's kind of like in a sport, like if you keep, I don't know, I guess it's, keep trying to run to get your mile time faster, or they have wind sprints on a soccer field, So I guess eventually you're trying to hit a goal. So when you're writing and you go back and redraft and redraft and redraft and finally get the sound you're looking for, like you read a sentence and you finally get it, and it's like the aha moment, it feels so good. Like, it's incredible. Like, I eventually got to a point in my college essay where I wanted to fit 2 words in, so I'd read and read and read and look for unnecessary words to backspace to fill in the 2 more content. Like, I'm 650 on the dot. Like, that's where I got down to. So for me, it's a lot of, like, finding the goal, like the aha, phrasing.
All right, so I think that we should transition here to a different topic. What I want to talk about is football. Because there's been a lot of football on.
Oh, yeah, baby. Yeah.
And I want to say, first of all, UCLA Bruins winning the Alamo Bowl yesterday. I think it was like 41-35, something like that. And I watched that game, and it was awesome. The refs kind of sucked, or maybe it was the Bruins that just got so many penalties. But
surprise! The refs suck in football. Oh,
I know, right? Yeah, it's ridiculous. No,
that never happens.
These refs, I think, were from the Big Ten, but just the ones in the Pac-12, which is the Bruin, the UCLA
the conference.
They are honestly so bad.
I know.
This is an example. This was the Big Ten refs, but something like this has totally happened for the Pac-12 refs too. So the Bruins run a play, right? And so it was first down. They get like maybe 7 yards or something like that. Then they reset, right? They're about to hike it again. And then a penalty flag flies 10 or 15 seconds later for the play beforehand. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, if you're going to call it then. And even so, every single time they called a penalty, they would throw the flag, and then they would all get together and they talk for about 30 seconds to a minute. I'm just like, if it's holding, it should be obvious. Just like call it holding and be done with it. Otherwise, don't call it. And so, but they like talk about it for 30 seconds. I'm like, just let them play, get the game going. Come on. But yeah, but I was just freaking. I was cursing up a storm at the TV there. I think so. My parents like left to go get food. I was glad that they did because a bunch of BS calls started happening. I got pissed off. But I was happy we won. I mean, I don't know if you even watched the game.
I did.
You did, really? Okay.
You better believe I did. I wasn't gonna miss college football.
Exactly.
Are you kidding? I'm not a communist. You know I watched it.
I was just so a couple of things. A lot of people if they Google this like Kansas State UCLA Bowl, Alamo Bowl, or whatever, the first thing they'll see is head coach of UCLA Jim Mora at the end of the game kind of brushes past the K-State coach, their head coach, and I forget what he says, but it's something like really, or what the fuck was that? Basically, is what he said. He just kind of gave him a quick handshake and left. And so people are saying like wow, that's a dick move. Like, really, come on, Mora, that's a dick move. And my first thought is like, yeah, what's that for? But then I heard what this was about. So what happened is two things. One, so there was about a minute left in the game, and UCLA has the ball on first down, so they're just going to knee it, right? They go victory formation, they're going to knee the ball.
Yeah, spike it.
Win the game. Exactly. So they get into victory formation, they knee the ball, clock runs down, and so a couple things happened. One, there was like 10 seconds left, so the game was obviously going to be over. Like it was just they lost. So our team or UCLA, they knee the ball, and then right after K-State calls a timeout, and we're like, really? Come on, you're gonna lose. Like, why would you call that timeout? And then so they do another play where they just knee on the ground, so it runs the ball, runs the clock. But so one of the offensive linemen on K-State just like dives over and runs into Hundley, like pushes him over and like almost like punches him in the face. It's like,
oh my god,
they're in victory formation, like they're taking a knee. Come on, man, don't go so intense. And so everyone gets up and they're just kind of like looking at each other. They're not giving each other's like good game, high five. They're just like, hey, fuck you, we fucking beat you.
Yeah.
Just like, you played a dirty game. Yeah, they hated each other after that game, and so
they always do.
Yeah, and so, but that's the thing. So I can kind of back up more here because he was kind of protecting his
It's a turf thing. Yeah,
like,
it's a turf thing.
Like, what the fuck was that? You didn't need to call that timeout. You guys were gonna lose. Like, seriously. And second, you don't have to dive over our players when we're gonna win. Like, let it go. Stop being like a dick. Don't hurt our players, basically. I mean, I know people are gonna say like, "Oh, it's football," like, and I have nothing against like people running into each other and like giving each other concussions for me to watch, which sounds terrible. But I think that in this situation where they were gonna win 10 seconds left, and it was one of those plays where you just go on the ground and that's it, you're done.
Yeah.
Then they didn't need to go so intense, right?
Yeah. What's your Super Bowl pick?
Oh, that's tough. I don't know. So as much as I hate them, Patriots are doing really good. I like certain players on their team, but overall, I mean.
Who do you like?
I like Gronkowski.
Oh, okay. Rob Gronkowski. Okay.
Rob Gronkowski. I like a lot of their defensive players. A lot of their linebackers. I'm a defensive person. I've played defense in soccer all my life, so I've always been defense. But I don't know. It's not that I don't like Tom Brady. I don't know why. He's a really good guy. Maybe I'm just envious because he's got a hot girlfriend. But
he really does.
He does. She's a model.
He did well for himself. Yeah.
But I feel he's a great quarterback. He makes a lot of plays. That's what he does. He's a football player.
I guess you could say he scores on and off the field. Ooh.
Okay.
Scandal. Right. Yeah. So
you like
you like the Patriots? All right.
No, I will see that. I don't think they're gonna win. I think that they're gonna be favored to win, and everyone's gonna be like, oh yeah, they're gonna go, win. They're gonna win. They might go to the Super Bowl, but I feel like for some reason something's gonna stop them, and they're gonna lose, and they're gonna be like, oh shit, man, you're doing so good. I wonder what happened. I'm like, it always happens. They always go so far and then they lose, which makes me happy. I don't know why. It's just something in me is just like, you know what I think? It's because whenever they're kind of like the New York Yankees. It's whenever someone wants, when they don't know anything about the sport really, and they just want to root for someone.
The best team.
The bandwagon team.
Right. Yeah.
The New England Patriots. Like I know so many people. So I know some people that live in San Diego now that used to live in Boston, so that's understandable. But then I know people that haven't even like been to the East Coast. They have no connection whatsoever, and they used to like root for the Chargers, and that was their favorite team. But now they're like, you know what? I really like the Patriots. I'm like, yeah, fuck you, bandwagoner. I hate bandwagoners so much because it's just like, why? I understand that you like to win or whatever, but I think that's just
I get it.
Cheating.
Yeah. So I mean, tonight the Panthers won, and the Ravens.
Did. Okay, I didn't see the end of that game. Oh, my
God. The Panthers really gave them a beat.
No, I did see that. That's where they. So, spoiler alert. They had like the interception or whatever at the end.
Yeah, the Cardinals had a pick six and then fucking fumbled on the 1 yard line, and it went the other way again. Yeah, Antonio Cromartie picked it off. Cam Newton throws it. He throws it bullet down. His receiver goes the opposite way, and so out of nowhere and throws it into 3 Cardinals. Antonio Cromartie comes and grabs it, obviously, because, like, who the fuck are you throwing to? And he picks it up and then runs it nice, the 1 yard line. He slams it down, and then they ruled it a Cardinals touchdown, which is how they got to 14 points, or to 13 points. And then they did a field goal to 16 was their final. But, they fumbled on the 1 yard line. Like, just get it in. Jesus, dude. Like, just hold it in your hand. He was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to reach for it. And someone swatted it out of his hand. And I was like, you fucking moron. You moron.
Yeah.
So, Panthers won, and the Ravens won, too.
They did. Okay, so I was watching that game. And when I was watching that game, the Steelers were dominating. But, yeah, no, I mean, the Steelers had a good opening quarter, I think. But Ravens won that game. That's nice.
Oh, yeah, no, the Ravens really beat the shit out of them. It was wonderful. I mean, Joe Flacco, he's a dick. I mean,
why? What do you have against Joe Flacco?
What's not to have against him? He's an average Joe quarterback, and then his team finally wins a Super Bowl on the back of Ray Lewis, and then he's like, you know what? When it comes to next season with contract time, I want $120 million.
What for? Like fuck?
No, okay.
I totally agree. He is like the average Joe quarterback. Like,
yeah, right.
I hate to make assumptions, but I kind of want to say that there's not a lot of quarterbacks that couldn't do his job. Like,
right.
Because they have. That's one thing that they have. They have an offense that doesn't depend on a really good quarterback.
Right.
It depends on like good receivers, good running backs.
They have good running. They have good running. They have a great line. They have a great offensive and defensive line. They have an incredibly effective defense, which is obvious because they stopped the Steelers from scoring.
What's the guy? Suggs or Snugs? I think it's Suggs.
Terrell Suggs. Yeah, Terrell Suggs.
That guy's a beast.
Yeah, he's real.
You see like these huge like tight ends trying to block him that are like 215, 220 pound, like 6'2", and he just kind of shoves them, kind of flicks them aside, and he goes runs over.
Right,
back. I'm like,
right. So basically,
just, like, pushing them.
Joe Flacco's like, oh yeah, my team won a Super Bowl, so now when it's contract time, they offer him like 9 or 10 years or something, and he demands $120 million. Does he look like $12 million a season to you? He looks like a whopping $6 million a season to me, and that's me being generous.
Exactly.
It's not like
I was going to say 4.
Yeah, he's not some John Elway, all right? Like, get off your high horse.
Like, yes, he won a Super Bowl, but
yeah, but
it wasn't him who won the Super Bowl. It was his team. It was the defense.
Right. It's not like he was Tom Brady, where he's doing a no-huddle offense and he's just a phenomenal athlete all around. No, he's not. He's an average Joe quarterback. They got blessed with one of the best linebackers to ever walk on a football field, Ray Lewis, and he got blessed with Anquan Bolden and Ray Rice in the backfield. That's a phenomenal duo. Yeah, no, it's not like he was some John Elway that's like, leading this team to victory. He's not a Joe Montana. Like, settle down. And then tomorrow's Bengals, Colts, Lions, Cowboys. I don't know.
I always like to root for the underdog when it's teams I don't really care about. I mean, that I don't really know too much about. I kind of want to. I know that the Lions aren't really an underdog anymore, but like you think like 5-6 years ago, what would they? They were like 1-15, and now they're in the playoffs, which I think.
Right, they got Calvin Johnson and their quarterback Matthew Stafford, and now they're taking off. Yeah.
Do you remember which college Stafford came out of? I kind of forget.
No idea.
Wasn't Oklahoma? Was it? I don't know.
I don't know, but I honestly think I hope
strong draft.
I hope the Lions beat the Cowgirls. I really do. That would mean a lot to me.
That's America's football team, though. Come on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know, right?
The Cowboys win.
Yeah, we're all Cowboys. I do recognize that Tony Romo has some. The Cowboys have some wonderful momentum right now. I mean, they're 12-4 and they're on a winning streak. So I'll give them.
I'm gonna be completely honest here. I think Tony Romo's a little bitch.
I think he's a bitch too.
Maybe. Like I don't like him. I think that he used to be. I mean, I'm not saying that he's a bad quarterback, but I think he used to be.
I'm saying he's a bad quarterback. I'm saying he's a bad quarterback. Yeah. I'm an Eagles fan.
I am too.
Yeah. I'm an Eagles fan. I fucking hate him.
He used to be a decent quarterback, and then he just kind of started whining.
Always shit.
I think he used to be okay. I'm not going to say that he was great or even good, but he was a decent quarterback.
No, I think he used to be a polished turd, and now he's just a steaming pile of you know how you go hard on Thanksgiving, and then the morning of Black Friday you take an AC 130 level deuce. I think that is what Tony Romo is.
I like your metaphors here.
Yeah, I think he's the first poop after Thanksgiving. Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I think he is. I'm an Eagles fan, so it's naturally in my blood to fucking hate the Cowgirls and the Giants.
So you're an Eagles fan. How is that going for you?
You know, the thing is, first of all, it was a Chargers move to get rid of such a good player like Deshaun Jackson.
I know, right? Okay. I mean, I can understand that money's kind of tight on this team because they're not like the greatest team. They haven't been. They never really like get into the playoffs. They get into the wild card slot and sometimes hopefully
we haven't been
happen to get into the playoffs.
We haven't been in the. We got in the deep playoff. We got to this round of the playoffs last year because LaShawn McCoy was the best rated running back in the whole league. And LaShawn.
I was talking about the Chargers, but.
Oh, the Chargers. Oh yeah. The Chargers.
Yeah, what I was saying is that I can understand that. What I was trying to say there is like I can understand that money is tight because they're not really like doing super well or anything. But like to let some of these good players go that they have been,
you know what? They let go of Drew Brees, then he wins Louisiana a Super Bowl. Then they let go of Darren Sproles, and then Vincent Jackson. Are you high?
See, Vincent Jackson. I mean, I'm not saying that was obviously not a great one.
Yeah,
we have some really good receivers, so I can kind of let that go.
Yeah, we do, but Vincent Jackson was taller than any cornerback that's going to cover him. He's 6'5", all-pro. You know that awkward spot where you're in like the 7-yard line and it's too far away to run to get to the goal line?
Yeah, you just kind of give it to Vincent Jackson. He just lifts his arm up.
Right, but you can't do a pass because you don't have enough breathing room, so you throw a little fade to the corner, and you need that tall guy where if he does a 1-foot hop, he's the only one that could possibly grab it. That's Vincent Jackson, and we pissed him the fuck away. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I think that in the first two, so Drew Brees, they were like, oh, he's past his prime, he's injured now. I'm like, seriously, wait, like literally not even a full season, and he won't be injured anymore. Two, he's past his prime. Are you kidding me? At that time, he was like one of the top 3 quarterbacks. He was
just climbing the ladder.
Yes, exactly. It was like Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, and him. They were the top 3 quarterbacks, and they had the best passing rating, whatever it is, in the nation. I was like, why would you give this guy away? He's great. Second, Darren Sproles. I love that guy. He's so small, which is great for me because I'm a small person. But also, we have a huge offensive line, so he just hides behind them, and no one knows where he is. He just finds a hole and goes.
Yeah, he is a snake in the grass.
And he was one of the greatest punt and kick returners that we ever had because he was just so fast. It wasn't like he'd catch it and then kind of like look and like figure out where he's going. No. He would just bolt off, and so. No matter what, you wouldn't ever. I mean, unless he was getting a fair catch, he was always at least like a 17-yard return or more or something. He always had great returns. So
he was incredible.
Why did you let Sproles go?
Yeah, and he's still incredible. I mean,
he's doing really well.
So
what's he playing for now? Is he? No, he didn't go there.
He's with the Eagles.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Because
is he like a starting running back or?
Yeah, it's been very helpful to have him because he's incredible. No, but to be totally honest, I think it's the coaching. I think Chip Kelly is not NFL material right now. He's the new head coach. This was his second season. He took Andy Reid's place, and
I remember Andy Reid. I don't know.
Yeah. Chip Kelly. He was a good college coach, but right now it's just he starts off the game too conservatively. You know, it's like he's afraid. He's afraid to make like bold choices where it's high stakes, high reward. Like he'll sit there and when we have he'll sit there and just run the ball on first down. Like who the shit, and then he'll run the ball on first down, pass on second, run on third. Like what the fuck are you thinking?
Like, especially if you're saying he starts out conservative, like at the beginning of the game, that's kind of where you have to. I mean, you let it go, you let it fly, you just kind of go all out, and that's where you get all your points.
Yeah, it's 0-0. Like
right. So I mean, it's not like you're down by 14 or something like that. Like
yeah, it's ridiculous.
If you give up a touchdown, obviously that's not great, but I mean, you're gonna have 3 quarters and maybe even more to get it back.
I think it's a couple of things, to be honest. At the end of last year, the Eagles had such a good season, the way they ended it. They beat in the playoffs. They were down 2 points to the Cowboys, or like 3 points, and then with 10 seconds on the clock, the Eagles intercept the pass, run it in for a pick six, and beat the Cowboys. And so they had such a good bonding with the new quarterback to replace Vic. They had Nick, oh God, what's his name? They have Nick Foles. So they had a new quarterback, Nick Foles, who's just getting that team chemistry going with his running back, LaShawn, and Deshaun Jackson is best, and like Jeremy Maclin is good passing game. So he's getting a running game, a passing game, and then he gets injured. So now we have Mark fucking Sanchez, the guy who has no awareness of his surroundings.
I hated Mark Sanchez for so long. He was a USC.
He winds back his arm, and then someone comes in and hits his elbow, and he drops the ball. He's like, wait, I had no idea there were defensive linemen that could do that. Like, get your head out of your ass, Mark. Like, get in the game. And then the combination of losing Deshaun, piss poor move, Chip Kelly being a pussy of a coach, and then Mark Sanchez's inability to be an actually decent quarterback. I think those three things drove us into the ground. Ridiculous. He's sitting there and he's like acting like it's like freaking. He's like, oh yeah, that run didn't work. Back to the drawing board. Like, why don't you try running like, I don't know, some kind of option or some kind of screen pass and just letting Darren Sproles, sprint 40 yards. He's quick enough. Like, have a spine. Mm-hmm. Like, I think that's the problem, and I think it's the opposite problem for the Chargers. I think we're too ballsy for not having any offensive line.
Yeah.
Philip Rivers.
We've had a lot of injuries on our offensive line this season.
Yeah, it's basically an entire third string line. And then we have, if Brandon Flowers could ever learn how to fuking play defense.
We have a fifth string center or something like that.
Yeah, we had
I think he wasn't even like a center. He's like a third string left guard or something like that.
Right, yeah. We had some third string bench boy playing center, and then Brandon Flowers is always 8 steps behind the man he's covering.
Mm-hmm.
Dear God, it's not like you're covering fucking you're not covering Usain Bolt, dude. Learn how to play defense.
But on defense, we do have Eric Weddle, who I think is doing really great.
He's good.
Yeah.
We had that guy Woodhead.
A lot of people hate Manti Te'o, but he's doing really great this season. I know he had that controversy.
I just feel bad for him.
Yeah, I can feel bad for him. But he's doing really great this season.
Yeah.
Everything off the field aside, he's doing really great this season. And he's had a lot of time. I think we have a decent running game. We've had a lot of injuries with Matthews and stuff like that. So I think we're kind of just testing with a bunch of other running backs. I kind of like that sort of sense where we have maybe 3 running backs that they get to play every game. It's not like we have a first string running back that is our main go-to when we want to make the big plays, but we have two other capable running backs that can be switched in at any time, and maybe if we want to do a certain like run option or something like that, they're the guy to go to in that situation. But Matthews is for like maybe a pass play if we want to pass to Matthews or something like that.
Yeah. Okay, well then let me ask you this. Tomorrow morning we have the Bengals and the Colts in Indiana, and Indiana's favored by 3. What do you think?
You can tell me whatever, you can ask me whatever you want, but I will warn you, I don't know too much about these teams. But
no, I mean like who do you think is going to win? Who do you think is it going to be a Bengals or a Colts advance?
I don't really know anything about the Bengals, so I can't really say. My gut is kind of saying Andrew Luck's still the quarterback of the Colts, right?
Indeed.
Yeah, so I'm thinking it's Andrew Luck and the Colts. But who's the quarterback for
the Bengals?
Yeah.
Andy Dalton.
Oh yeah, he kind of came out of nowhere and he did pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. So in this situation, I mean, I don't really care who wins, to be honest.
Yeah.
Maybe root for the underdog, go for Cincy.
Okay, then let me tell you. So
I don't know.
Right now, the teams that are still in are the Panthers, the Ravens, and the Panthers and the Ravens both those teams won today, and then tomorrow we have the Bengals, Colts, Lions, Cowgirls. What do you think for the Super Bowl? Do you think the Ravens are going to go again?
That's tough to say. I don't know. So wait, this might be a stupid question. Are the Seahawks in it anymore? Did they make the playoffs?
No, they lost a long time ago.
Okay, yeah, no. See I'm a really big college football fan, so I kind of lose.
My favorite is college hoops.
Yeah.
College basketball and college football are my favorite. I remember watching like Colin Kaepernick play at Nevada. And I remember watching watching the game when Cam Newton won for Auburn, and it was like everyone was like,
that was a good game.
They went, "Oh my God, this guy is the second coming." And then he got to the Panthers, and it was kind of like flop.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so I watch a lot of those guys because I like to follow them all the way to see if they're gonna have a professional career. Like the quarterback for the Cardinals, Ryan Lindley, 2 years ago he walked on to SDSU Aztecs. I
know. I actually went to one of the games he played at because my grandparents used to have season tickets to the San Diego State games because my grandpa, this was like in the 40s or something, like he used to be the starting quarterback for San Diego State. So
that's so cool.
Fun. Yeah, and this is when like they had like maybe like there's 11 players on the field. I think they probably had like 20 guys altogether. It was really like small. They had to like organize their own games and stuff like that. But it was really fun. He said like their biggest rival was Fresno State.
Oh yeah.
They're still rivals.
As we speak, San Diego State's basketball team is playing Fresno State.
Really?
Yeah, as we speak. But they're huge rivals.
He tells me the story a lot where there was they played Fresno State and it was like it was a really close game. And they were down by like I think it was by 1 touchdown, 7 points, and so they don't know what to do. They're on like the 8-yard line or something like that with 10 seconds left, and my grandpa's the quarterback. He hikes the ball, no one's open, and he runs into the end zone, and everyone's going crazy, and so they go for 2. And they do like this really weird fake play. I forget what it was, but it somehow involved the quarterback, my grandpa, catching the ball. And so they scored the 2-point conversion, and they beat Fresno State. And it was like a great, awesome part. And they were just like super happy and everything. But yeah, so I went and I saw Lindley, and he surprised me for like something. San Diego State isn't like they're D1, but like they're not like a huge contender for any like bowl games or
Their
anything
football
like that.
team isn't a huge contender. Their basketball team, though,
Oh
is
yeah, no, their basketball team.
incredible.
They were
Yeah.
so good at the beginning of the season, and then they just kind of started losing.
It's these.
Was it who was it? Paulie that kind of like
Yeah.
fainted and he went out. He
Yeah.
hasn't been
Yeah.
playing for a while. He
Yeah.
was
Like I like. Yeah. Police really good. Yeah. But we had the It's a combination of losing players to the NBA. Like Oh
okay.
God,
Who's the guy who plays for San Antonio Spurs? He's a starter now.
Tony Parker?
No, he came from SDSU. It's like
Oh, I know. Is
shit. I gotta look this up. I don't know why I'm forgetting his name. I know his name.
No, I know. It's God, what's his name? Kawhi Leonard.
Kawhi Leonard. Exactly. That's what I'm trying to think of.
Yeah.
Kawhi Leonard, and so he was a starter basically right out of college, which is I think is crazy. Like
he was
it's
really
like
good.
unheard. That's like Kobe Bryant status. No, but he can really he carries. Like he's definitely. I mean, the Spurs team is really talented, so I'm not gonna say he's the star of the team or the best player because he's not. But he's really good.
Yeah, our powerhouses are Dwayne Polee, Skylar Spencer, Akil Quinn, J.J. O'Brien, and Matt Shrigley. And Matt Shrigley went
to 5 players. That's a huge powerhouse.
Yeah, well, like that's our starting 5. Oh no, I'm sorry. Our starting 5 is usually something like Skylar Spencer, Akil Quinn, Dwayne Polee, Winston Shepard, J.J. O'Brien. And then I think
O'Brien is one of the underrated players. I think he's really good.
He is underrated.
Yeah. He's one of those guys that you look at the stats and you're like, wait, he had 20 points? What? When did he score 20 points?
He's well, his freshman year, some of the freshmen on this team who we thought were going to be a little better. It's just kind of like the same thing happened with J.J. O'Brien and like Winston Shepard when they first came in. It's you make mistakes as a freshman and kind of just get used to like there's a huge jump up from high school to college D1 ball, so just mistakes will be made and lessons will be learned. But J.J. O'Brien eventually learned how to pass the ball and how to dribble drive a little bit. And the same thing happens, Dwayne Polee learned, and eventually Kawhi Leonard, we rarely get people like Kawhi Leonard, or like with that guy James Rahan, where they're just automatic. Like
James Rahan went to Torrey Pines. He went to Torrey Pines, and my sister knew him, and so he's like a local boy, and he went on to be really good. Yeah, he didn't go to the draft. Right? Is he in the NBA?
I heard he went to go play ball in Europe.
Really?
Yeah.
I think he might have. I think he entered the draft just kind of for shits and giggles. I don't think he expected to get drafted, and he didn't. I don't think. But I didn't know he went to play ball in Europe. I thought he went on and got a job or something like that.
No, I heard he went to go play. Rumor had it he went to go play ball in Europe.
I think that was good. I think that he was also one of those underrated players.
Yeah, he was. I mean, at one point, his junior year, he had like a 75% from the 3-point line. He had the highest like 3 in the league. He was every time it was in the corner, he drained it. It was ridiculous. The only way he'd miss it is like if someone slapped his hand. Like he was fucking.
And he gets to shoot 3 free throws. So.
Yeah. And if we could learn to shoot free throws, Jesus.
Oh my God, we have usually you think like centers or something like that. Centers, they're big guys like Dwight Howard or something like that. Oh, they're not really good. They're not gonna. I mean, they're not good at shooting free throws. I can understand that. But our whole team, we're like 23% from the line. It's ridiculous.
It's fucking ridiculous. We get fouled so much, and we never, ever can put it in the hole. It's ridiculous. And we're good, but that is a huge problem, and we're a second, we're a team that relies more on our defense than our offense, which is always a tough spot to be in because if we're playing a team that has equally good defense, we don't exactly have the smack to bring it on, the offense. We do a lot of dribbling into traps.
Yeah.
Which really sucks. It happened I mean, the difference with Kawhi is that he could, when he dribbled into traffic, he would somehow get through and make it a layup, or at least get fouled and hit it from the line.
Mm-hmm.
But not all of our players can do that, especially with a bunch of freshmen that we just got on the team. Since we have, we lost so many people last year, we can't afford to do that anymore. Our free throw percentage is too low. We have to rely more on actual, Steve Fisher's done way more than his fair share. He's, he took a team that was, giving away tickets to, making them sold out every game all season.
Mm-hmm.
And March
he's
Madness.
a great coach. I think.
Yeah.
I love that guy. He's not only
he's a Hall of Fame coach.
Yeah, and not only is he a great coach, he's just an all-around great guy. He gives a lot back to the community. He does. Yeah, he really puts his heart and soul into this team, and I just think that he could go. I don't know. I think that his niche is really college basketball. Like, I'm not sure if he could go pro or anything like that, but he does so well at what he does.
Yeah, he really does. He's certainly a mastermind coordinator. No, just if we could ever work, if we could get that down, it's kind of cool. He gave San Diego a team to root for. The Clippers moved. The Chargers are. We need a new offensive coordinator, and the Padres. If you look at their 2015 roster,
we don't talk about the Padres. No, but they did get a lot of trades actually.
But they gave away everyone. We gave away. Over the course of 5 years or so, we gave away Brian Giles, we gave away Khalil Green, Tony Gwynn Jr., Scott Hairston Jr., we gave away...
Do you remember when we had Jake Peavy?
Yeah.
I was so pissed off when they get... Because not only was he an amazing pitcher, but he was he was the pitcher that could hit home runs and doubles and stuff like that. I'm like, you never find a pitcher that can hit. Yeah. It's not just hit. He is a good hitter, and then he's he strikes a bunch of people out. He's a great pitcher.
Yeah,
why would you give someone like that away? And I think it came down to they couldn't pay him because he's a really good player. That's why I think most of our problem comes from is that we don't do well for a lot of years, and when we don't do well, we don't have as much money to spend.
Yeah.
And we want to spend money on the good guys and maybe the few good guys that we have on our team. We can't.
Yeah.
We can't pay them. And so that's why our team is kind of always changing. We never really have many stable players.
We gave away. So no more Adrian Gonzalez, no more Chase Headley. The only person I recognized on this 2015 roster that was good was we got Matt Kemp from the Dodgers. So he's a good.
We got a couple other good trades. I can't think of any.
I'm sure. I didn't recognize them exactly, but. Yeah, Matt Kemp is solid. Plus, it's a double-edged sword. We're taking away from the Dodgers.
Mm-hmm.
As much as I like Michael or Magic Johnson, I'll be whenever the Dodgers lose, I'm stoked.
Magic Johnson, what?
He owns the Dodgers. He bought the Dodgers 2 years ago.
I was like, you got the wrong sport, but okay. I didn't know.
Yeah. So right. So he bought.
Oh my.
What?
San Diego State loses to Fresno State 59-57.
Yeah, 2 points.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Carlos Quentin is good. Yeah. Okay. Carlos Quentin is good. We've got him a while ago from the White Sox.
Yeah.
Justin Upton is good. We got him from Tampa Bay. And Will Venable is an original pod, and we've had him for a long time, and he's really good.
We actually have him for a couple of years.
Yeah, we have had him for a long time. Yeah, so we have so we have a really good, solid, outfield. We have, however, we have. I have no idea who our catchers are. Don't recognize them by name. Don't recognize.
Yeah, I think we trade them away in one of these. Yeah. At least one of them away in one of these.
Don't recognize any of the infielders, and the only pitcher I recognize is Andrew Kashner. He's a good pitcher, but the only one on here I recognize. I don't recognize, out of all of these, out of the 15 or 16 pitchers on this 40-man roster, before they cut people, I don't recognize a single one besides Andrew Kashner. So I have no idea who the Padres have anymore. So, we keep just changing so much. I guess lack of funds or lack of demand. No one wants to be a Padre because they're not. They've become like the Chicago Cubs. of baseball, if you will. The Cubs haven't won a World Series in like 106 years, and they supposedly have a curse, because they got kind of close one time and someone kind of fucked it up.
Yeah, they caught the ball.
Yeah, that guy like leaned.
I'm cultured in baseball. I played for 12 years, and then.
Oh my God, that's so long.
Yeah, no, I played baseball for 12 years or something. I think it was 12. Yeah.
Oh my God.
But I was really into baseball.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, that's awesome. And then I mean, I'm not trying to knock the sport of baseball, but I kind of realized I'm like, you kind of just like hit a ball and you run 50 feet, like.
Yeah.
In terms of sports, I guess, I mean, I played soccer, and I liked that because I was just running around a bunch. I had a bunch of energy. But, I don't know, it just got kind of boring for me, and so I didn't play anymore. So
I guess after a long time of playing a sport, you kind of get into, like, a funk, like a slump. I get that.
And also, I wasn't really good at baseball, so that's one of them.
Yeah. I mean, I played for a long time, and I loved it. It was my favorite thing ever. I mean, I played for a very...
That's one thing I feel like if I were to... go back into it or something, I think I would have a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it. It gave me an identifier, like I had a team. I automatically had friends, I was a part of something, I had something to identify with, like it was nice to, have to go to practice and be with all these cool kids and, just hit balls and, go eat nachos and big league chew. It was fun. I've only fought, plus our catcher was an absolute tank. Like
really?
That kid,
I played catcher. That was fun. I like catcher.
Yeah, that kid, like whenever someone would try to steal the base and they try to run in and of course slide, he would just throw an elbow into like their chin. And be like, you're not getting anywhere, pitch.
Okay, so let me tell you one story about when I played catcher.
Brick wall.
So there's this one time. So one of my friends actually, he was on the other team and he was on third base. And one of our pitchers just threw a crazy pitch, and it went behind me. And so this guy started trying to steal home. So I run back, and I get the ball, and I'm running back. He's like trying to slide in, and I dive with the ball in the glove, and then I'm holding onto the ball so it doesn't fall out. I just dive, and I think I couldn't really control myself because I was just like, I want to get this guy out. So I dove, and I went straight into his stomach. And so, so he totally, like, I felt so bad because he was on the ground for like a minute or two, and like he was, what is it called? Like all the air was blown out. He got, I can't think of words today, but he couldn't. It was kind of hard for him to breathe for a while. It wasn't like super intense, but he got the air knocked out of him. That's what I'm trying to say.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, and so, but I was like. That was 3 outs, so I was kind of like, yeah, throw the ball on the field, run it, because I didn't realize that he was on the ground, so I went back. Everyone's like putting their helmets on, and I turned around like, oh shit, dude.
Yeah.
Like David, dude, I'm so sorry. I didn't know I was doing this. Like, but
yeah.
Friends. But yeah, no, that's my baseball story.
Do you know, not every Little League field, they put the money into it to have grass in the infield. That's like more of a major league thing.
Mm-hmm.
There was one time where I tried to bunt the ball, and I hit it, but it didn't go on the grass. It hit the edge of the grass where it met the dirt in the infield, and the catcher's mask, the chin part, was blocking it. So everyone's like, oh my God, Riley, run, and the catcher couldn't see, so he's looking around for the ball. And then eventually took his mask off and like found it. So I got a double out of that.
Really? Okay, so
yeah.
So you know if you have 2 strikes and you bunt and it goes foul, it counts as 3 strikes and you're out. So
yeah.
I had a coach that he's like, ooh, we're gonna be edgy, we're gonna be cool, we're gonna be different, and he would constantly have us bunt with like 2 outs, 2 strikes. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like,
why?
And so that's the thing. So he'd give us the bunt signal. I'm like, all right, I'll fucking bunt. And then I'll bunt, and sometimes it'll go fair, and I'll get to first, and maybe a run will score, something like that. Sometimes it'll go foul, and then everyone gets pissed at me. I'm like, I didn't want to fucking bunt. It was the coach that told me to. Like,
yeah.
I did my best. I tried hard, but like, it's kind of hard to control. If you do a bunt like off a curveball or something like that, like it's hard to do. Like, don't get pissed at me for that.
It really is hard to hold on to try to bunt when the ball is moving, especially when it's like moving with speed and moving like a curve or like a change of it's really difficult. Yeah, so I feel that I was never much of a bunter. I was more of a duck snort. I wanted it to go just enough where the infielders couldn't get it, but short enough where the outfielders couldn't get it. So they had to get it on the one hop. That was a secure single.
See, for me, I was one of the people. I was one of the first 3 people in the batting lineup because I knew I could get on base whether it was by a bunt. I used to be really, really fast, and so I could hit it, even just hit it regularly to the third baseman, but still beat the throw all the way to first. And so I'd play one of the first 3 positions. So then we'd have number 4 clean up, try to hit a grand slam or something like that.
Top of the lineup, yeah, okay.
Exactly. So I'd start out at the top of the lineup, and I was all right. I could get on base most of the time, but I wasn't an amazing player that made the big play. Like cleanup, who batted number 4, and I'm not gonna say his name because I don't really like that kid. But actually, no. I'm thinking of a different person. He was a cool guy. He could hit a lot of home runs. We had a really crappy team though. Memories. Going back to college football quickly. The college football playoffs. Let's talk about the 2 bowls. I think it was the Sugar Bowl and the Rose Bowl. Bowl and something else. But I always like to root for the Pac-12 team because UCLA Bruins are in the Pac-12 conference.
I get it.
I was happy that Oregon won.
If you go to Michigan, you'll be a Big Ten kid.
Yeah.
So,
but as of right now, not accepted to, not to
all right. Pac-12.
Not denied to any colleges either. I mean, I just turned in my applications. But I was rooting for the Pac-12 team. So I was glad Oregon won. Marcus Mariota is a beast as much as I kind of despised him when he beat the Bruins. But he's going to go far. He's going to go, I think, in the first – he's going to be a top 5 pick.
Oregon beat the shit out of them, dude. That game was 58-20. That was an embarrassing game.
They won by 39, I think. 40.
Yeah, that was just an absolute beatdown. It was wonderful. Yeah, I really think Oregon has the momentum to take the championship.
Yeah, and so I absolutely hate Alabama with a passion.
Oh, me too.
I hate Alabama so
the
much.
Crimson Tide, yeah, fuck those guys.
Nick Saban, fuck you, Nick Saban. Nick Saban is an asshole. He coaches Alabama. I think I have my facts straight. He coaches Alabama for a couple of years. Something happens, there's penalties, a controversy. Something happened where they weren't going to be bowl eligible for a year or 2. So he gets up and leaves, goes pro, joins the Miami Dolphins, gets a bigger payday, and he starts coaching. Once the sanctions end at Alabama, he goes back. I'm like, seriously, man, fuck you. And I think that he's a lot of it. I think he's in it for the money, and I think that me being a huge Bruin fan, the reason why I like Jim Moore is because he really connects with his players. He cares about his players. They're one big family. Where Saban, he just wants the glory. He just wants the payday. He just wants to win. I mean, which is understandable if everyone wants to win, but the way he goes about it, he doesn't care about the game. He doesn't have any respect for anyone. I'm just
no. Alabama is so one of these powerhouse teams where they expect themselves to be number 1 every season, so they become so hoity-toity. So it's winning the championship is routine for us at the Crimson Tide. They're so full of themselves.
Yeah, see that. So when you said they're kind of expected to win, they have the lowest standards in terms of letting people in for admission to go to Alabama because everyone there, it's either you're either from Alabama or you're going there because they have a good football team or you're a football player.
Yeah,
I mean, literally, UCLA, for example, to get in, most, the average 50%, this isn't including football players at all, but the average 50% of people that get in to UCLA have, a 4.2, 4.3 GPA.
Right, yeah.
really high test scores, everything like that. So they're really smart people.
It's your state school or it's football?
Yeah, and so for UCLA, they kind of have their hands tied behind their back for recruiting. They can't let all these good, even if they're like local good guys, maybe even from like Compton or from LA, just anywhere in the LA area.
South Central.
Exactly. No, there's a bunch of players from there that they want to go to the school, but maybe they don't have the best grades. Maybe they have a 2-point, 3-point something. And so, that 3-point something isn't terrible, but just in terms of like the amount of people or what's expected for UCLA students. Exactly. Yeah. And so they kind of have their hands tied behind their back. They can't let all these like really poor students in, even though if they're great football players. Whereas Alabama, it's like, are you breathing? Can you play football? You're in. You're in. Yeah. Like I looked it up. For Alabama, I believe it's a 92 or a 95% acceptance rate.
Wow.
So you have to be.
That's like BYU, man. That's like a guaranteed admission.
You have to be.
Wow.
Pretty dumb not to get in. Sorry for anyone who didn't get in. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But Kansas State, who UCLA played in the Alamo Bowl, 99% of people who apply get in. But then again, like, who applies to Kansas State? Come on.
Right, yeah, people from Kansas.
Exactly.
Right, yeah.
And that's why there's so many people at the Alamo Bowl. There was like 50,000 people in attendance. I swear 49,000 were K-State fans because no one wants to stay in Kansas, but a lot of people want to stay in California.
Right, yeah. That makes a lot of sense. I'm
sure Kansas is a beautiful state. Don't hate on me.
It's just like in the middle of nowhere, so there's not a lot of, I get like it's naturally people would rather go to Los Angeles than to Kansas. I get it. Makes a lot of sense. I definitely think Oregon's gonna win, or at least I hope they do.
Yeah, I hope they do too.
Because if Alabama loses, I'm stoked. Yeah. What do you say? We gonna wrap it up?
Yeah, I think that's it. So thank you guys. Thank you everyone for watching. We had a good amount of viewers. I was surprised that a lot of people showed up and watched us today. So thank you very much for watching us. As always, I'm Nick.
And I'm Riley.
And this is Happy Hour at Shenanigans, Season 2, Episode 2. Follow us on Facebook.com/CineFectMedia. Like us at CineFectMedia, and we will let you know when the next happy hour is going to be going up. We are also looking for people to collaborate with us.
Yeah.
So if you're one of our friends who's watching, let us know. If you don't have any connection with us, but you have a YouTube channel that you wanna talk about, you wanna promote, we can do some cross promotion. If you want to talk sports, if you like something that we talked about, or if you have something that you want us to talk about, let us know. We want to collaborate with people. We want people to show up on this podcast. If you don't want to show up on this podcast, but you want us to talk about something, leave us a comment. Send us an email at happymailhour@gmail.com. Let us know. We're glad to have people on. Riley, you want to say anything else?
No, have a good night. It was a great show.
Yeah, all right. Thanks so much, everyone. Bye-bye.